different after lunch.
Y'all join for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Special Freestone County Commission Report, April 27, 2026. We do have posting in force of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code as amended, also known as Texas Open Meetings Act. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Any members of the public who wish to speak concerning matters not on the agenda shall each have 3 minutes. We have any today. Brian, as far as staying on schedule, I think we'll go ahead and knock this out on the top then.
I think you probably have time, Judge.
So we need to go to item number 1 is to approve the minutes of April 15, 2026 regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for April 15th, 2023. Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 2 is transfers and amendments.
Make a motion to approve the budget transfers and amendments. A second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve the pay bills. One set.
Is this the same court bill?
No, that comptroller stuff is just where we collect fees from fines
The
and
state fees.
state fees, and we're just sending them their portion of the fees, so it's
Okay. All right.
money we were never gonna get to keep.
Right.
Didn't come from our taxpayers.
$59,000, a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And that's done quarterly too. Yeah, 3 months.
Okay. It really just sticks out since we
It
don't have
does.
very many this time.
Yeah.
Right.
I make a motion to approve by the bills.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 4 is to approve the payroll with no action.
We do have a payroll, sorry.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't think nobody ought to get paid. Item number 4, is there a motion to approve payroll?
I'll make it. I second.
A motion and a second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 5 is reports. Do have a report from Freestone County Clerk. A report from the Oakwood Volunteer Fire Department on calls that they ran inside of Freestone County for the month of March, which was 5 grass fires, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 8 medical assist, and 1 investigate, which turned out to be a controlled fire.
Well, guys, that was a lot.
They do. Any other reports? If not, is there a motion to accept these reports?
I'll make it, motion second.
Have a motion second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 6, Ferdinand. No action.
I think it's good.
Item number 7, special road use agreements. No action. Item number 8 is to approve bonds and education certificates. Item 1, for myself, ours gotten in September, October, November, and November. Totaling 34 hours. We have our cybersecurity training for Karen Moore, Lisa Black, Stephanie Stevenson, Michael Dunn, Gary Hammond, Alicia Rowe, Christina Flannery, Sheila Mays, Michael Spires, John Thorne, Andrew Walker, Larry Jones, Melanie Colbert, Tony Bosley, Jada Sanford, Misty Pena, Bella Cantor, Stephanie Whitfield, Lisa Hendricks, Misty
Baloo.
Bates. How do you say
Baloo.
it?
Baloo.
Baloo. Okay. I was just gonna rip that one up. And Brian Evans. Any other education certificates? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 9, proclamation for Soil Stewardship Week. This is from the Freestone County Soil and Water. Soil and Water Stewardship Week proclamation, whereas healthy soil and clean water is a benefit to everyone, and whereas effective conservation practices provide the soil, water, animals, plants, and air that can ensure a rich standard of living, and whereas our security depends upon the robust management of natural resources, and whereas stewardship calls for each person to help conserve these precious resources. Therefore, I do hereby proclaim April 25th to May the 6th as Texas Soil and Water Stewardship Week. Motion to approve this.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor, aye? Item number, now I guess we will Brian, we don't really have on number 11, we just have a vote on discussion of executive session. What's that? Well, we changed that by item 12. Discuss.
Yeah, item
So
12.
we'll need to move to skip down to item number 12. And with this, and the primary reason for the meeting is just try to get some clarification. I think we can all agree that the PACB website is misleading and does lead one to believe that all of precinct 4 in Freestone County is wet. That's what it looks like. What's your last name? I forgot.
Reed.
Reed, Ms. Reed. So she has applied for and received a DABC permit to sell distilled spirits. I think that being from here and remembering in the days when none of the county was wet, remembering that it changed when Strickland before working.
No.
The last thing they sent me today was from Ken from the archive up in Austin, is from August 31st, 2017. Now, they're still digging, they're gonna go back further. Their deal is they're gonna go and see when the last that they can find, when it was on the spreadsheet, and then go from there and try and find some sort of, I guess, documentation from law or something. But so far right now, to the August the 31st, at the end of the fiscal year of 2017 is what he's found. And they're just gonna continue, because like I told them, they need to provide y'all with some proof of where somehow some vote was to where it was made.
Yeah, and the timeline we found, so there's local option elections, right?
Yes.
That you go through to vote, whether you want the city, a municipality, a precinct, a county. What we found, actually it's through the TABC website, the local option election for Wortham was somewhere around 1998. It became the ability to sell alcohol, distilled spirits in Wortham. Proper 2007 was Streetman, when it passed for Streetman. 2008 was when Fairfield failed in their election. And then 2012 was when the county as a whole went to being, depends on if you want to say moist or wet or whatever you want to say, soft, wet, yeah. For beer, wine, there's a restaurant caveat in there as well. But that vote didn't include distilled spirits, but that's where you started getting gas stations. Me and Judge talked about Do Truck Stop, which is a kind of a good example of something that's not in a municipality, right? Where it can sell beer in those type of stores. And so that was the timeline we were able to come up with out of my office for any type of local option election dealing with Freestone County in general.
Well, I think the good thing is, and you're still waiting on a reply from TABC out of the Austin office, is that right?
So I think between the county, myself, Renee, the sheriff, we've gotten in touch with probably 4 or 5 different individuals, the TABC. I will say all those individuals are very helpful. They all answer the phone. They're all willing to talk. So I do appreciate them on that front. They've kept sending me to, there's an email that I guess is, I'm not going to call it their research department, but almost their local option election department. And so I've included Judge on those emails. I've included everybody just for repetitiveness, and I've emailed probably 4 or 5 times, continuing to get a little bit more aggressive with my want for them to answer this question for us as to how the map ended up looking the way it did. I hate to say this on camera, Brian Evans' theory and Brian Evans alone is I don't think there's any coincidence that Wortham and Streetman are in Precinct 4, and Precinct 4 on the map's the one that ended up getting messed up. I don't know, but I don't know if that was a bad, reporting from Wortham and Streetman at the time, if that was just a miscommunication between Wortham and Streetman and TABC, or whether that was TABC's fault.
Their interpretation of it.
I don't know what, again, that's Brian Evans' theory. It just seems too coincidental for both those municipalities being Precinct 4 and Precinct 4 to be the only precinct that we have that is messed up.
Right.
Obviously, I think all of us are waiting on them. I would like confirmation. First off, obviously, we have to deal with this issue in and of itself, but the map right now is still messed up. So if you were coming into this county and looking at that map for the first time, I think it would be misleading. My theory would be that it's misleading based on what local option elections actually happened.
Judge Lloyd Lane and I spoke, and like I told him, I'm not going to open it up and be illegal. It's not going to do it. It's not worth it. I've dealt with Mr. Clyde Bridge here, and that's not going to happen. I will not be belittled. Now, I will not open up. Just like he asked me, he said, as soon as we find out, yes or no, if it's true, we have a problem with me, no. I'd go somewhere else, it's not that big a deal. But my deal is just making sure that we're correct, and this gets corrected. Because you don't need it, I don't need it, no one else needs it.
It's kind of one of those, I think we've dealt with or I have dealt with some problems over 9 years in this position that it's a comedy of errors where nobody's really wrong, somebody in the past is, because the math is wrong, but all of us are relying on different information than what's actually correct.
It just needs to be corrected.
And I appreciate that. I know Judge and I have spoken. I appreciate that outlook on it, obviously, just to try to correct the problem that we're finding out.
I'll just go down the way.
Yeah. Well, after talking to Ms. Reed, and she said that she would come and make it very transparent, that she did not plan on opening him up. Our executive session was to consider a restraining order on your permit until we found out what was right, But the fact that she's going to do about it, and again, if the math is right, if there's something that the whole county missed, and you get to open up, and we wish you the best of luck,
And if you tell me no, it is what it is,
Yes, ma'am.
but it needs to be corrected.
It needs to
Every
be
mistake
verified.
needs to
Yeah.
be fixed.
So-
Can I ask one question? Whose responsibility is it, the map?
So it's kind of a who's on first situation. But if you talk to TABC, they take reporting locally to change their map. They don't keep up with
Their map.
their map, but they are crowdsourcing it, right? Like counties are reporting to them, hey, TABC, we're a Wortham municipality. We can now sell this. Would they give them, I'm assuming, some type of, election confirmation, I would assume, who knows, to then change that map based on the local reporting.
Okay.
Now, again, I think that we also look at TABC as the regulatory agency. So there is something with that map, when you look at it, it feels like it is the authority, right? You look at it and it tells you what to do. And I think that's part of it too, that I know Ms. Reed probably got in touch with TABC. They looked at their map and they said, hey, it's all good. So I don't know exactly. I think it's kind of a little bit of a passing of the buck, and I guess not my only frustration, but my main frustration is we're kind of crying help for a while now, of emails weekly or twice a week or 3 times a week saying, hey, please make priority. I know you sent some emails to him as well.
He also said today, what he was telling me is that they normally get an email from the county clerk. And that's where they end up doing this stuff from. And he actually said, and this is where he's helping out with another lead, is this is sent to the Secretary of State. Because once I did my application, they also sent it to the Secretary of State, and they are supposed to clarify also. So that is another lead that we're going to, so that will help y'all also in case, if it is wrong or whatever, who sent this to them.
And so right now, it feels like everybody in this room is emailing TABC. First off, hopefully we can find an answer as to why it's wrong, but at the very least get clarification of how it should be in the future, so us moving forward.
What we might need to pursue also is how did precinct 4 get wet outside of municipality? Did we have an election for people in precinct
Yes.
4?
County election, countywide. Who's got that out here?
A county-wide election to sell liquor outside of city?
Not like
Oh, yeah, I understand the beer and wine, yeah, I understand it, but I'm talking about to sell liquor anywhere in precinct 4, anywhere in Wortham or Street.
You hadn't got an answer of when they changed their map.
No, I think that's the key question that we're wanting TABC to. I would like to know, A, when they changed the map, what years did they change the map? I don't think anybody's ever gone and looked at the TABC map.
That's why they said, that's how, like, where they're at with 2017, before they did this, they did a spreadsheet every year, and fiscal end of each year, it shows which counties. So that's when they're going back, each individual one. So when they finally come to one that it's not on there, then they can backtrack, and then that will give them the date that they can go ahead and start, okay, it's not on 2010, but here it is on 2011, then they know start from there. And maybe we can have some answers from there, and they can start checking emails, they can start checking different things.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. That's what we're digging to find out. Again, my opinion is
What your restriction again? December 8th, what'd y'all say?
2007.
So it's been wet for 9 years that y'all didn't know about.
Do what?
It says it's been wet for 9 years y'all didn't know about.
2000, Streetman was from my research, it was 2007
Yeah,
when
yeah.
municipality of Streetman.
I would be
Yes.
betting that's when they got changed.
Me too. Whatever
Common
that.
sense, you know, you think, okay, they gotta change, okay, we're gonna add it, then they put all four in there.
Yeah, whatever, that again, I have nothing to base that off of other than it just makes a lot of sense to me, Treatment and Wortham being in precinct 4, some type of communication got mixed up in there somewhere to just make all of precinct 4.
Yeah,
But
water, I mean, when it,
But both of those are inside municipality.
you're gonna put the map on there.
2025. This new map is 2025 is what they said.
I just wonder if the original website had a map for, you know, how years ago, you could go to something that wasn't nothing but reading, and then it seemed like as the technology got better, then they started adding stuff to it, but
you said it best. I think the good thing is the map is interactive. Like you can click on it and you can, move around
it
and
hadn't always been like that.
correct, but that's the problem is it almost looks up to date, right? Because you can click on it and see, hey, what it is now, and it doesn't, at least I'm not that IT savvy to be able to go back.
It's GIS map.
Yeah, and look to see when it changes.
The elections in precinct 4, the only elections were elections in Wortham and Streetman. It was not a whole total-wide precinct election. So the people in Freestone in precinct 4 did not vote unless they were in a municipality, Wortham and then Streetman. They did not vote to make precinct 4 wet.
Which is, yeah, for liquor. Yeah, again, that's my,
Sorry.
yeah, distilled spirits. Yeah, learned a lot about alcohol sales and what goes into that as well. Probably
Okay.
The initials trying to figure out which
I
one.
wanted to see, I wanted to ask that.
But
so
they
I
use the,
now I know what
spreadsheet.
BS is.
Yeah.
Very good.
And there's REM, that's some type of restaurant, you
Yeah.
sell food and that type of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
So, I think I have my conclusion of what's gonna end up coming out. I think the information to get to that conclusion is gonna be interesting from TABC as to why it was messed up. But also again, and to change it from now looking forward. Hey, if it was a mistake, it was a mistake, but it needs to be right.
Right, the mistake, that's fine, it's still, we
Yes, sir.
everybody. And so,
And that's
Ms.
why
Reed didn't do
I
anything
wanted
wrong, our county clerk has done nothing wrong.
No.
And back when that information was reported, the elections administrator who would have been overseeing that election was the county clerk at that time as well. So, and I know that she called the other day and called our election administrator and the county clerk looking for
The
this
records that
election.
they'd asked me,
Yeah.
TABC had asked me to, and then,
And
yeah, and they said they didn't have it. So, and then Keith Kyle at TABC today, he took over, he's the licensing inspector and investigator, and he's the one that took over, and he said, let's, gonna handle it. And he started digging, that's what he said, let's just backtrack for every year. And he said, something has to be there, we have to have email, we have to have something, but we have to have the first date that it was considered wet. That precinct 4 showed up wet, and then we can go from there and we can track it. And by the email may say just what y'all said. And if it does, it does. But the point is, it needs to be corrected either way.
Yeah, sure.
that's right.
It doesn't matter the outcome, it needs to be corrected.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you holding off on voting because I know you have been issued a license. and so
I have been,
we get it.
but I haven't had that for a month,
Yeah.
probably over.
All right, any other discussion on item number 12? No, I guess we will go to item number 10, which will be executive session. And I guess we will start that at 2:25.